internet, my name is Lave and I haven't had the chance to go to the cinema to see any new releases this week, so I thought I'd take a little bit of time to get reacquainted with an old friend called television and Netflix, because they're starting to make inroads into producing their own award-winning films now, so I thought I'd check one of them out. This one being Roma by Alfonso Cuarón, who's just won all of the BAFTAs. His latest is a drama set in Mexico, and we follow a year in the life of Cleo, a maid working for a middle-class Spanish family in the early 70s, and we experience the ups and downs of their life through their eyes through 1970 to 1971. And the film really captures that. It does feel like a snapshot of a life lived. Alfonso Cuarón has based this on his own childhood memories, on people that he knew growing up. So it is a much more personal film when compared to his other movies like Children of Men, which is one of my favourite films ever, and Gravity, which gets a lovely nod. Characters in this go to the cinema and they watch a film called Marooned. I had to check it up, but I guess that was the film that inspired Gravity. And when I think of his other films like Gravity and Children of Men, I think of those amazing long uncut sequences. And there's plenty of them in this film too, but not for big action set pieces full of spectacle. Here he uses them to let you explore the environment. I feel like I could draw a layout of the house where they live and the surrounding streets just based on the imagery from this film. But what I really like about his uncut sequences is that they don't ever feel like they're staged. There's a couple of like panning shots which made it feel like a kind of security camera within the house, but other than that it makes you feel like you're just an observer kind of intruding on these people's lives. The cinematography is amazing. I think Alfonso Cuarón has decided to take it on himself this time. It's beautiful. He somehow makes cleaning an alley full of dog shit into a work of art, and the decision to film it in black and white does give the film an added sense of texture, and it makes it feel like it's been filmed in and of that time, and it also makes it timeless. This film is going to hold up 50 to 100 years from now. Performance wise, I don't recognise any of the actors or actresses, but ultimately I do think that is a good thing because it adds to that sense of realism. I've never seen these people before, so it feels like I am just observing real people. But they all give great performances, even the kid actors. I had a lot of fun trying to guess which one was the representation of Alfonso Cuarón. The littlest child kind of creeped me out a little bit because he keeps talking about his past life, but the relationships and their interactions all feel completely genuine and real. And there's a couple of really nice supporting characters as well. Keep an eye out for this Mexican stuntman entertainer who has a really funny scene-stealing moment. But really the focus is on Cleo the maid and the mother Miss Sophie, who are both dealing with their own domestic issues, Cleo with a martial arts loving boyfriend and Miss Sophie with her absent husband. All the while, significant moments in history are sort of happening in the background. There's an earthquake at one moment, there's riots happening because of disputes over land, but that's really just the setting. The forefront is their own problems, which lead to some really heart-wrenching moments, but ultimately have a really solid positive message of love and family and support, getting you through the highs and lows of life. In terms of some negatives, I don't really have any. It's a deliberate slow burn of a movie, but crucially, I was invested in these characters from the off, so when these really significant moments happen in their lives, I was invested in them and I cared for them, so it really worked for me. There were a couple of moments where I thought some of the imagery was a bit on the nose. For example, there's a moment when Cleo tells her boyfriend something very significant in the cinema, and in the background you can see the cinema screen and this plane crashes, and it kind of symbolises what happens in that moment in her life, which I don't want to spoil. There is another moment where they go to another family's house, I think for Christmas or New Year's, and one of the family members is dressed up as the boogeyman, and then he takes off his mask in the middle of this like forest fire and he sings this song. I didn't quite get the significance of that scene, but I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. But other than that, I really enjoyed this film. I was completely engaged throughout its runtime. you should definitely check this one out. So that's my thoughts on Roma, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Obviously, this was a passion project for Alfonso Cuarón, and it really worked for me. That passion leaps off the screen. I think every film is a reflection of the director, but I really like it when they make it a semi-autobiography, especially when great directors do it, and Alfonso Cuarón is one of the great directors. There is one more thing that I want to discuss before I sign off, but it ventures into spoiler territory, so if you don't want the film spoiled, then that's your cue to go away. So, as the film was progressing and we find out that Cleo was pregnant, I started to question whether Antonio, the husband to Miss Sophie, was involved in any way. Because it's never actually confirmed when Cleo goes to the hospital to get checked out that she's had more than one sexual partner, and it is obvious and it is confirmed that the husband is having an affair. And they do have a moment together in the hospital later on when she goes into labour, and he reassures her that everything's going to be okay. So I wondered if that's why she said at the end of the film that she didn't want to keep the baby. But now that I've dwelled on the film, I don't think that is the case. I think it would undermine the overall positive and solidarity message that comes at the end of the film with the family accepting Cleo as a member of the family. It was just a thought I had, and I wondered if anyone else thought that along the way. Let me know in the comments down below. So thanks very much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought down below. I'm going to try and check out Velvet Buzzsaw, Dan Gilroy's latest film. I'm going to try and get a review out for that, but other than that, I'll be going back to new releases next week, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like, and don't forget to share the Lave. Gracias.
Subscribe.